Okay. So before questions, I'll talk for a second here. As you know, yesterday, as reported, there was an altercation. The people that were reported to be in it, that's accurate. Everybody's fine. Jordan practiced today, so Draymond didn't. Look, it's the NBA, it's professional sports, these things happen. Nobody likes it. We don't condone it, but it happened. Draymond apologized to the team this morning. Jordan was there in the room. I was there in the room, the team, the coaches, the players. And we heard that. As far as any suspension, punishment, fine, we're going to handle that internally. And understand you might have questions on that, but that's going to be an internal process. As far as some of the reports, and I commend all of you for doing your job well, it didn't take long for this to get out. But some of it, I would say from my vantage point, I don't feel, and more importantly, you should ask the players that you talk to, I don't think this was related to who's getting paid and who isn't. I don't sense that. Make your own conclusions. Probably more important what players think on that than what I think, but I don't see it. I've actually seen a really good group. I've really seen for people that were in Japan with us, actually it's one of the best vibes that we've had in my 12 years here as far as camp and health and mental health and camaraderie. But it's unfortunate, and not going to deny it. And it'll take some time to move through, but we'll move through it and move forward. And I'm confident that we will. We got a good team. We got good leadership. We've got some guys that have been here a long time, and we haven't. This isn't our first, thing that's happened. First sense of adversity. We've been through some of this before, so don't like going through it, but it's part of the NBA and it's part of sports, and it's kind of where it is. I'll try to answer some of your questions. I probably won't give you everything, but I'll do my best.
There it is. What's your, I guess, your biggest concern when you found out what happened? What was the first thoughts you had about how this might impact the roster and the guys, the chemistry?
Well, first, like anything, Monty, you want to make sure everybody's okay. That's the number one thing. And after that, nobody likes these things. So how do you move forward? There's a process to these things. There's apologies. There's time. This is where you hope you have some equity in your team. But the very, very first thing is everybody okay? And as reported, Jordan did finish practice, which is a really good sign. And he didn't do it damaged. He did it like he normally would. So that'd be the first thing, Monty. And then after that, we just got to heal. And that's really up to the players and their leadership. And I think we're good in that area. We'll get there. But yesterday was something we don't, you wish doesn't happen, but sometimes it does.
Bob, you've been through this multiple times. Does that experience make this, I guess, easier to deal with, for lack of a term, or does it make you kind of tired of having to deal with this?
Probably, you don't want to go through anything, Marcus. I mean, nobody wants to go through these things, but in a sense, people throw around the word family, but this group's been together a long time, which means you've been through a lot, like any of your relationships. So I actually think it helps to have some of the same people in the room. Even a guy like Iguodala, who was here and then left and came back. There's a lot of real relationships on this team that can withstand adversity. If you got a group of new guys, it's harder to trust each other than it is when you've been through stuff. And if you're in the NBA or anything in life and you're together a long time in an emotional place that we live in here, in a competitive place, things are going to happen that you'd like not to. But if you've been through it and then come out of it, more importantly, I think it puts you in a better place to do it again.
Bob, you said you don't think it had anything to do with contractual situations, but you are looking at two players, as you said, who are, at least in some ways, possibly getting contract extensions. Does this affect the way you would approach whether you're going to give Draymond or agree with a deal with Draymond or Jordan. Obviously, the deadline with Jordan is coming up. And by the way, how have you talked to his representatives lately? And where are those?
Yeah, I'm not going to do the blow-by-blow negotiation. We've talked to them. We're going to keep talking. So that's ongoing. I don't think, Tim, this doesn't change an approach. It doesn't change our feelings on it. I've asked the question directly to people involved on on our team, not involved. Like, do they think that? They've said no. I hope they're being honest with me. I can only answer that I don't see it. As an agent, I saw it. Around here, prior to this, I haven't seen, I don't know if Curry does such a good job of setting the tone, maybe by the fact that he never complained about his first deal and that story's been told and is true. He just sets a tone of you have to act a certain way, and it helps. And Steve helps do that. So I don't see it, Tim. I can't get into people's minds, but you all will talk to the players. That answer will come out. I don't see that, and I don't feel it. It doesn't change. We're not going to pivot on our approach to our contract discussions. And the reason why we're not going to is I think we're going to be past this. I don't think this stays for the rest of the season. We'll move on. There's been a variety of things we've had to overcome, and we have. And I think we'll overcome this. So that's why it's not going to, I don't think, bleed into the contract stuff.
I just kind of want to get specifics on this morning. Draymond was in the facility, apologized in person to the team.
Yes.
And he didn't practice.
No.
I assume that was at least part of the disciplinary action.
Yeah, I mean, space is good. And Steve's going to speak to you as well, but I'm not going to get too much into, like, more than he was here. He apologized, and he didn't practice.
Did he leave right after?
He went home.
Okay. Do you expect, I mean, maybe this is more Steve, but do you expect him to practice tomorrow?
Ask Steve. I know the answer to that, but I'll let Steve do that one.
Gotcha.
Bob, we've talked a lot about how Draymond's fire and passion, it is a good attribute for this team to have. Clay on Media Day said that, like, if you play for the Warriors, you're going to get yelled at by Draymond. It's a bylaw by now. But does it ever come to a point where it becomes not good and can become toxic? I know you say you guys will work past this, you guys have in the past, but does it ever become a concern of, okay, these things have kind of happened more than once and there is a line somewhere?
Yeah, I mean, he'll tell you he's been over that line, you know it, but he always comes back. And he's a unique guy. I mean, without him, we don't win. And I want to win. Our ownership wants to win. Our players want to win. Our players want him on the team. And if you play, that's the most important thing. Nobody's saying we don't want him around, we don't want him on the team. They know what he does. They know what he needs. But yesterday wasn't a good moment. Just bottom line, it wasn't. There's people in life that make mistakes and don't apologize or don't earn your trust back. He always does that. I don't think he likes putting himself in these spots. He's in one, and I think he'll find a way to earn the respect of his teammates and Jordan back, but that's the work he has to do.
You guys did put together this young and veteran two-timeline thing, whatever you like to call that two-timeline. Is there some generation, I mean, I'm not even that it's that bad, but is there some generational friction here that's almost even normal? But do you see that sometimes even like first unit versus second unit? And at some point you have to expect some clashing between the generations?
I think you see it. I'd be lying if I said we don't have some of that, but it's actually healthy. Like the veterans crush the young guys all the time in scrimmages. I mean, but the young guys, they need that. You know, it's a tough love type thing. Obviously not with yesterday, you don't want that, but the NBA is rough. It's hard. It's hard to win. And so we have some of the best winners that the game has ever seen in our veterans, like no doubt. Steph, Clay, Draymond, Andre, like show me people that have figured out how to win better. And winning is tough and it's hard. And if their job is to teach the young guys what it takes, then great. They're doing my job. Sometimes, yeah. I mean, it's a little bit of big brother, little brother stuff. Like you gotta overcome them. But our young guys are up to the challenge, and they're not backing down, and they're up for it, but there's a reason why the core has won at the level they have, and the young guys haven't. So they got to learn that. But it's 99% of the time, Tim, that's healthy, and you like it. But sometimes it tips over.
Considering you have these young guys, I don't know if in the past you've had this many young guys. I'm pretty sure you didn't. Are there any concerns about how they might experience this, and is that on Steve and the coaching staff to kind of coach them through, like maybe even this is not how we do things?
Yeah, it's funny. I mean, I keep using this guy's name, but like when he's not here, my job's gonna be a lot harder. Is Curry? Like I walked up to today, I'm like, you ready to do some leading? He goes, you guys got to pay me some more money. I said, we're paying you as much as we can. It's him, man. Like you can't. He holds that line in such an easy manner. And our young guys, Draymond is absolutely a leader on this team, no doubt. But the young guys are all good people. All understand like what happened yesterday happens. I mean, if they stay in our organization, if they go other places, a lot of you have covered other teams. Doesn't mean what happened yesterday is right, but it happens. And it's really, what do you do next? What do you do after it happens? It happens in probably, I don't know, since I've been here, we've had stuff happen, but we've overcome it. So the young guys, I think this is where, again, it doesn't matter what I say, I don't play. So it's really Andre walking up to the young guy. One young guy said, does this happen a lot? We're like, no, this isn't normal. So some people, they don't know, it's brand new. But that's where the players, that's why you keep guys like Looney, who's young, but established as a leader. That's Andre, that's even Clay in some instances, that's Steph. And a lot of times it's Draymond that mentor these guys, and hopefully these young guys will do that for the next generation of people. That's professional sports. The young guys learn from the old guys, and I think they'll be fine learning from this. And they're gonna. I watched them today for a while. I don't see any big issues propping up at all. I don't feel that way.
Bob, I know you don't want to get into the discipline. If Draymond doesn't play, we would obviously see that. So first thing, do you anticipate him missing any games?
I don't think so at this point.
Okay.
You would see it.
Yes. I figured the cat's going to be out of the bag at some point. I wonder, I know it's fresh, but with Jordan in particular, I mean, just from a life standpoint, you get stalked by another human being, that's going to leave a mark. Do you have any sense from Jordan about his ability to go forward with Draymond as a teammate, and what sort of lasting impact, if any, might be here?
Yeah, look, he'll speak soon, I suppose. Draymond will speak. What he says is more important than what I say. That's up to him. But knowing Jordan like I do, he's a pretty resilient guy, and he'll get through it. But I can't I'm not going to say how he feels, how he should feel. I'm not going to say, only I would know if it happened to me. But it's, Steve and I talked about when he got hit, and, you figure it out, you hang on to it for the amount of time you need to, and you move on. But that's a good question to ask him. He'll answer it. But I have confidence that it won't erode the fabric of our team. I guess that's what I could say about it.
You kind of chatted about this earlier, Bob. Obviously, we know sports are competitive. People get in fights. It's not what anyone wants, but it happens. We all know that. Is the attitude of the team, is it awkward right now, or do they look at it just as that, as sometimes these things happen and we're moving past it? Or do you think it might take a little bit to kind of move past this? Is there awkwardness in the room, I guess? I
think it's less awkward than you think. Most of you, maybe you don't think it is. I don't know what you think, but it's not bad. Like, if you walked into, I guess if you were all in practice today, I don't think you would have seen some lingering awkwardness. I don't think you would have seen it. I didn't see it, and I didn't feel it. But I've been on teams where people have fought. I've been in gyms where there's been fighting. No one likes that, but every team has moved past it. I've never seen it ruin a team, because you accept when you play a sport, and I'm not saying this is good. When things are that competitive as they are in professional sports, there's a certain level of things might go past a line, and you thank everyone that nobody got really hurt. So you learn from that. The worst things are like when you can't, somebody gets really hurt by a punch or something like that. You have to learn. We have to learn that's not okay. It's not like you get away with it, but it's almost like you got lucky, nobody got hurt.
You know, for us, we'll obviously kind of reference back to the Draymond situation a few years ago, and part of that was, you know, they were speaking about the situation. What was said was very important in that situation. I don't know, what's your perspective on like what was said that led up to the incident? Did that have to do with contract stuff, or was that just normal trash talk on a basketball?
I didn't hear. I think some stuff got reported. I didn't hear that it was anything that hadn't been going on, like our team's better than yours and stop calling those fouls, like a normal kind of argument in a scrimmage. Like I didn't hear anything different than that, and no one told me anything different than that. And that question was asked: was this something, you know, beyond the line that was said? And the answer I heard was no. It was not anything different than a normal bickering in a scrimmage, is what I was told. I didn't hear it. I wasn't sitting close enough to hear it. But I've heard them argue. I've heard other players argue a week ago, 2 weeks ago, and it wasn't, I've been told it wasn't any different than that.
So, yeah, okay.
All right, thank you. Oh, Monty.
But because you've been through this with Draymond, how would you, I guess, measure or articulate your level of disappointment with this happening at this time with this team so early in the, before the season even starts?
Well, you know, Draymond is one of my favorite players. I told him that, but I just said, you're better than this. Like, don't do this. Don't do this to yourself. Don't put yourself in this position. Still love the person. Don't love what he did, but still love the guy. So he's complicated. I mean, but he is a good person. He is a good person. He is. I've seen it. I've seen a lot of things he's done. Yesterday wasn't one of them. So you gotta. It's really in this job that I'm in. These are men. He knows what he needs to do, and he's got to make amends. And he started with that this morning. So I'm confident he'll do that. Thank you.